Hey, I'm FishOnAHeater, and this is the Battle Breakdown, where we take a look at a set of 3 Pokemon Go PvP battles, and we take a look at them in every kind of angle that we can think of to see what we can learn from it for future battles. This is a Vortex Cup set between myself and FishOnAHeater is how I'm going to try and pronounce that. This was a practice tournament, which a lot of the ones I'm going to be doing have been doing, will be doing, practice tournaments. I've finally kind of utilized the flash tournaments for everyone Discord server, which I highly recommend for anyone who wants to, who just loves Silph Arena battles as much as I do. I have used it as a way of fighting boredom. I've used it as a way of practicing for upcoming cups, and anyone who wants to get in their full 6 weighted ranked tournaments per month and don't know where to get their 6th, you can go to that server as well. Highly recommended. I'll try and remember to chuck a link to the server in the description. If it's not there, remind me. So let's take a look at the battles. FishOnAHeater. Actually, first, before that starts, let's take a look at the teams here. So, I'm running. I was really happy with this team. It was Blaziken, Frostlass, Melmetal. You can see. Yes, you don't need me to. I've explained in previous videos that I really like the coverage that Jellicent gives me. It's a little bit clunky to use, but it just walls a bunch of stuff that are really handy to wall. I wasn't a fan of Melmetal and Zweilous both being nicely countered by counter. So, like, an opposing Primeape here on Joe's side is gonna cause a lot of issues. Really, any other counter user. I'm running the Blaziken, obviously. I don't think I've seen any other counter users so far. I think I've seen a Toxicroak. Definitely haven't seen any Lucario yet. Also, the Whiscash there is a great core breaker for Melmetal and Blaziken. So it'll just laugh at both of those. What else we got? Nothing else really to note. PV Poke, just in the team builder, says that Galvantula does beat Melmetal, which the team builder uses the 0-on-1 shield average to determine that. I haven't looked at it properly, but I'm pretty sure that at the very least, with a slight energy lead, the Melmetal can comfortably take that, because one Rock Slide is enough to just tear a Galvantula apart. Drifblim is an interesting pick. I really like the thought of Drifblim because it's like Frostlass. It's a ghost that can handle dragons pretty well, and they are running Frostlass as well. So the double ghost strategy, which my Melmetal can take both of those ghosts pretty well. The biggest trouble I see with running Drifblim is that Frostlass beats it. So it's kind of awkward running a ghost that gets countered by the most popular ghost in the meta. The other interesting thing, though, is that Drifblim will not be countered, like, for Ninetales really nicely counters Frostlass. The Drifblim will not have as much trouble. Who actually wins that one? Ninetales versus Drifblim. Look at all that HP. So Ninetales does win that one barely, so that might be a case of IVs. Because the Ninetales is winning with 4 HP left. So that sounds to me like an IV issue. But looks to be pretty even apart from that. So Drifloon has a lot more play against Ninetales than Frostlass does. I'm still not the biggest fan of it as a pick, but it does give you that flexibility for your ghost damage. I've run double ghost here with my Frostlass versus Jellicent, but my Jellicent isn't as poor against the Frostlass as Drifloon is. All right, let's quit jibber jabbing. Jibber jabbing. Jibber jabbing. Number 1, it's jibber jabber. Number 2, this is 2021. I think I'm the first person to attempt to say that in 48 years. Anyway, your whippersnappers. Okay, fantastic lead for me. Let's see. Let's just understand this matchup a little bit more, because obviously those volt switches do add up, and I don't think I can let through a discharge. Blaziken, Stone Edge versus Galvantula. So Blaziken winning that pretty comfortably. A Blaze Kick is gonna take out 80% or 81% of its HP. So I imagine each counter doing 6 damage. I mean, so that's not going to be quite 6%, but it's a lot. If we just call that 5%, it's less than 5%, but just for the sake of the math here, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and then that Blaze Kick is doing 81% damage, so really all you need is counters and 1 Blaze Kick to land, and you've got that comfortably. The Discharge does 62% damage, so that is definitely nothing to sneeze at, and the Volt Switches are doing 14 each! 14 damage! Okay, you can see how this kind of gets worse and worse for Blaziken as time goes on. So, the 0 shield, Blaziken is love and life. The 1 shield, it gets a little bit dicey, the 0-1 here. If Blaziken doesn't have shields and Galvantula has 1, Galvantula is going to take that. If Galvantula wants to spend 2 shields, it wins that matchup. However, I get the feeling that I've won the 2 shield against Galvantula. No, I might be thinking of Diggersby. My Blaziken has won consistently in the 2 shield against Diggersby, even with successful baits. So it takes how many turns to get to the Blaze Kick? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 12 turns to get to the Blaze Kick, and it's also 12 turns to get to the Lunge and Discharge. So that is a CMP issue, which Blaziken does take out. That might be IV dependent as well. So Galvantula can have a higher attack stat than Blaziken. So it feels to me like that's probably a bit difficult to achieve, but it is possible. In general, Blaziken should win the CMB ties. So if we go to the 2-2 shield here, that's interesting. So we are, getting off both of their charge moves. So we are burning both of their shields is what I meant to say. Oh, and the double lunge. Oh no, that's shielded. Okay, no, never mind. I thought for a second that the double lunge was enough to drop that damage below what was necessary to KO, but it's starting at 32 HP here. I don't think any amount of lunges is going to drop the damage of a Blaze Kick that low. It's close. The Galvantula's coming out with 21 HP left, but those Volt Switches just add up so fast. So, interestingly, that puts us in a bit of a situation here because, like, it looks like we've won this lead, but we haven't really. Like, if they want to spend both their shields, they flip that matchup. Do they want to spend both their shields to flip that matchup? Well, let's see. What do I have in the back? Team building is not a strength for me, so I probably can't really accurately determine, like, even my own team, like, if I'm leading Blaziken, what am I likely to have in the back? The camera is going a little bit blurry. Okay, so the Galvantula beats the Zweilous, beats the Jellicent, apparently beats Melmetal, so I hear, and it can trouble Frostlass. And how much energy does that thing come out with? It comes out with 38 energy, so it can, like, that's a good situation for the Galvantula. It'll only need one more Volt Switch for the next charge move, which it can throw, and in this situation I'm shieldless as well, so that will be an unprotected discharge or lunge, which in this very glassy meta is pretty damaging. So, and like I've brought Shadow Dragonair there, which is like one of the glassiest Pokemon in the. Actually, I'm gonna check how glassy is Shadow Dragonair here. Okay, so they've changed PvPoke to only show the original stats. They don't show the adjusted. They show the multipliers here. So, I mean, it seems like a pretty well-rounded Pokemon looking at the stats. Like, definitely no Blaziken. But, I don't know, I've been hit by a lot of charge moves with that Dragonair, and they all bring it into the red. Like, Shadow Dragonair cannot seem to take a breath of wind. So yeah, it's actually probably more beneficial for me to swap out here. Maybe build up some energy first. That's probably the way I gotta go. Build up some energy, and then swap it out. But no, they made the same mistake that I did, which was assuming that Blaziken wins that matchup. So that is a cool thing if you are running Galvantula to note. In fact, I'm going to write that down in a little notepad here because I do a segment on a Pokemon Go podcast. The podcast is called GoCast Podcast, and I run a segment called PvP Corner on there. I don't run it. Probably my co-host is more to be credited for running it. I just turn up and sound smart. But I want to bring that up on the show. That Galvantula beats Blaziken in the 2-shield. So, they bring out Whiscash, and what have I got? I've got Jellicent and Frostlass. So, I would think the obvious pick here would be the Jellicent, because Frostlass can handle Galvantula much better than the Jellicent can. And I also think Jellicent will do better against the Whiscash in general. Let's check that out. Whiscash versus Frostlass with 2 shields apiece. And we'll give Whiscash the 2 Mudshot energy lead, just to make it a little bit more realistic. Whiscash is beating Frostlass in the 2 shield. In the 1 shield, Frostlass is winning. In the 0 shield, Whiscash is... No, sorry. The 2 and the 1 shield, Whiscash is winning. The 0 shield, Frostlass is winning. I was about to be like, what? How does that happen? We're fine. Crisis averted. So, again, Frostlass doing her best work when shields are down. And that is a big theme for this cup. If you lose your shields early, you're in trouble. That's been the case for quite a few cups lately, and I think that's just a symptom of the way Great League is going, how everything's getting weather ball now, everything's getting powder snow and hex, and everything's speeding up. So yeah, if you lose your shields early, you are in a bit of pain. Let's look at Jellicent. And I was running Hex, Ice Beam, Shadow Ball. Send your hate mail to garbage@thedumpster.com. Ooh, hello, Whiscash wins that one too. I might have been mistaken. Frostlass seems to do a little better. Those mud bombs are just adding up. What happens, just for argument's sake, if I'm running Bubble Beam? I mean, this will... I'm going to turn off baiting and see if it still uses Bubble Beam. It does still just go straight Shadow Ball. Alright, let's turn baiting back on. And Jellicent wins that one. Wins a lot of those situations, actually, so... yeah, look. PV Poke would like you to be running Bubble Beam, because it's lower energy, burns the shields quicker, it defaults to using the shields at the first charge move, and the debuff, which PV Poke loves a debuff. I'm tossing up on it. I'm unsure whether I want to stick with Ice Beam or Bubble Beam. I like the coverage that Ice Beam brings. I like, especially as wireless, where if you don't have Ice Beam, you got nothing. Mandibuzz too, like an Ice Beam will take out about half a Mandibuzz. And it is also important to note that this takes into account that 2 Mudshot energy lead. Where if we take that out, let's see how that affects things. Jellicent's winning everything but the 0-2 with Hex, Bubble Beam, and Shadow Ball. Let's go back to Ice Beam. Whiscash winning that one. Huh. So Whiscash winning these 4 situations here. But, of course, you know, that depends on landing the Bubble Beam bait. The better results that Whiscash, that Jellicent was getting before is dependent on the Bubble Beam bait. And that is a very fun thing to say, Bubble Beam bait. Okay, so I build up to the Blaze Kick, switch out, catch the Mud Bomb. Like, if that doesn't impress you, then I mean, no, there's plenty of better plays out there. So now it's just sit here and attack each other. I'm switch locked, they're switch locked. They let the Shadow Ball through, which is huge. How much is a Mud Bomb meant to do to a 23%? Oh, that's close. But I think, well, especially since this is a very low ranked Jellicent, it's not as bulky as the rank 1 that I'm using for the PV Poke simulation. So Mud Bomb probably going to KO me here. So switch advantage is great. And in fact, how much energy do I have on the Jellicent? About 2 hexes. Takes me 5 to get to another Shadow Ball. So if I shield and farm down this Whiscash, if the Galvantula comes back out again, I'm pretty likely to get to the Shadow Ball before I can get to a Discharge, or even farm me down with the Volt Switches. Alright, and we get there, and so that's 4 already, so it should be 1 more to a Shadow Ball. There it is. So that Galvantula, because it switched straight out, it didn't try and farm up energy first. Look at that. Damn. And my opponent's still got 2 shields. Now, one more Volt Switch does take out my... one more Volt Switch does take out the Jellicent. But now my opponent has 1 and a bit Pokemon against my 2. However, I'm a shield down. They've burned one of my shields already. So, unless I want to go 2 shields down, something is probably going to get hit here. What do I want to get hit? What have they shown so far? They've shown the Galvantula, obviously, and they've shown the, oh man, the Whiscash. So, now that we've seen 2 Pokemon, can we work out what's in the back? Sorry, I'm always going to be yawning in my videos. It's a sleep disorder. It's called hypersomnia, where no matter how much sleep I get, I'm always tired. It doesn't help that I didn't actually sleep very much last night, so I'm blaming it on the disorder, but it turns out it's my crazy party lifestyle. Yeah, whippersnapper. So, alright. Frostlass seems like a decent option there for a third, just because of the general matchups it's got. I don't think it's there to counter anything in particular. But, is there anything? So, Whiscash and Galvantula as a core, what don't they beat? Maybe the Frostlass is something you'd find hard to beat. There's Wireless a little bit. Dragonair, not so much. Like, not enough that you're thinking of ways to counter it specifically. So the biggest problem is probably my own Frostlass. In which case, Ninetales is probably a good Pokemon in the back. If you're wondering, like, if you're thinking to yourself, these are your battles, you know the answer. I've got a terrible memory, and I blame the disorder. I could not tell you what I had for breakfast this morning. Yes, I could, but not far beyond that. Let's see if I'm right. Ninetales is my pick. Oh, by the way, shit. The whole reason we worked that out is because we want to know which Pokemon to bring out. If we're going with the assumption that Ninetales is in the back, we want to bring out Frostlass here. Just soak up the damage. Ninetales is going to obliterate it anyway. We don't want to use that shield because if the Ninetales were to get to a Psyshock against Blaziken, then that would pretty much be game over. I bring out the Galvantula and use my second shield. Fish, what are you doing? Ah! Oh, I was wrong. And that turned out to be the right decision. I managed to get that that blaze kick in without letting in a counter, which is fantastic. Joe has to burn their energy because otherwise I'm just going to punch it to death. I can survive a Night Slash here, so it doesn't matter that this Primeape gets its Night Slash off. Close combat, also not going to do anything. And, I mean, I didn't need to charge move it. I could have just fast moved it down, but I had the charge move there. May as well fire it. So, I mean, it's probably good practice at this point to farm down rather than firing, just because, you know, yeah, it wouldn't have made a difference in this battle, but it might make a difference in future battles, and you would like to be in the habit of farming down when you know you can farm down. Let's go to battle. Or actually, so why would they have brought Primeape? So Primeape, again, good counter to Melmetal and Wireless. It does beat Blaziken, and it can beat Frostlass and Jellicent if it lands enough Night Slashes. So maybe they just saw that the Primeape has good matchups against all of this stuff. Actually, we've seen all this, haven't we? Let's go to battle number 2. Frost versus Galv. It is 12 turns to each of their moves again. Frostlass's move being Avalanche in this case, so we're not looking at Shadow Ball in that situation. Who wins CMP between Galvantula and Frostlass? Galvantula. We got 135 to 120. Easily the Galvantula. So, we've seen what Volt Switch and Shield Pressure can do in the Blaziken matchup. Frostlass, pretty bad too. I'm staying in and then switch out to... Wow. What a catch. What a catch. How's that? What else did I have in the back? It was the Melmetal and the Dragonair. That's a tough decision. Because Melmetal resists Lunge and Dragonair resists Discharge. So I have to guess what they're going to throw. And that depends on whether I think they're going to predict me trying to catch the charge move. So that's a bit of mind game action going on there. If they think that I'm going to switch out and catch their charge move, they're more likely to throw Lunge, because that will debuff whatever I bring in, which is then stuck there for 60 seconds, waiting to get out, go home, eat a slice, recuperate. I've completely lost my train of thought. So I was talking about if they predict I switch out and cast the charge move, then they'll throw Lunge. If not, then probably going to go for the Jugular with Discharge. So I have to decide whether I think they will throw the Lunge or the Discharge. Throwing a Lunge in this situation, if you expect the Frostlass to stay in, throwing Lunge probably not the best thing to do, because even debuffed, an Avalanche should still take out a Galvantula. But I am going to double check that. It doesn't do as much as I thought. Are we including the Powder Snows though? Okay, yeah, so Powder Snows plus Avalanche equals death. Now what happens if that has been singularly debuffed? Ooh, it's taking a Shadow Ball and some Powder Snows to do that. So, okay, Lunge does make a difference. It doesn't flip the matchup in the Zero Shield. But there you go. It wins all the 1 shields and the 2 shields. Huh. That's with a debuff on the attack. Just gonna look at this again. Frost Slash winning all that. Huh, that's interesting. I'm gonna go back to the debuff again. That's a huge difference. So I would say maybe if you expect your opponent to switch out, or even if you don't expect your opponent to switch out of the Frost Lass, almost always throw the Lunge, I'd say. Never thought I'd say that. But I do catch the move, and I guess incorrectly, it is Discharge. I threw straight away because the Galvantula was mid-Volt Switch. So, I actually don't know if the game will let them switch out. If I threw that Rock Slide mid-Volt Switch, which I did, and they were trying to change their Pokemon, swap their Pokemon, then would the swap cancel out? Or would that be an official dirty swap? Alright, Ninetales comes out. I can't get to the next Rock Slide. They're already shielded down, so they might not have shielded that, wanting there to be another Weather Ball ready, available. Oh man, I am losing track of. Did the end of that sentence make any sense to the beginning of the sentence? Because yeah, I just go blank so often. It's very annoying. So the Ninetales comes out and gets a good little bit of energy against my Melmetal there, which is smart, you know. It's definitely within farming range. Get a nice cheeky couple of Fire Spins, and Ninetales with an energy lead is very, very handy. Very handy. You saw Dragonair standing up to a Psyshock pretty well, better than I expected actually. And now here's the Drift Blim. Now, what is the plan here? If they just go straight for the, the one advantage I have here is that I've got a Dragon in play, because that will encourage them to just throw straight Icy Winds. That makes them more predictable, and that means I have a better chance of catching with Frostlass. Oh, and I had energy on that thing. Jeez. Okay, here's my first opportunity to use a shield. And look at that. Oh, hang on. How many hexes was that? One, 2, 3. 4. They actually might have just gone the 4. Yeah, there you go. That's why I didn't shield, because they'd only fired 4 hexes. It takes 5 to get to a Shadow Ball. I built up a little bit of extra energy there, because you never know when a bit of extra energy comes in handy. And unfortunately, I felt I had to... I probably didn't actually have to put the KO on that drift limb. Like, it would have taken me very low on HP, but then I would have been able to very easily get to the avalanche to take out this Galvantula. In the end, I did just get it, but that was lucky. Lucky fish. Having those two shields there would not have helped, because that Volt Switch does more damage at that point than the Discharge or the Lunge. So I am 2-0 up. I've won the set. Here is battle number 3. Coming. Eventually. Dragonair versus Primeape. Shadow Dragonair versus Primeape. Pretty sure Primeape wins this. Shadow. That's with no shields. And in the 2-1, interestingly, Dragonair does win that one, but anything less than that, those counters are just a bit too far. Oh yeah, no, it does win the 2-2 as well. That's really interesting. Because, yeah, I thought it was just mainly the power of counter damage that overcame Dragonair. Alright, let's move on. So I lose this one unless I don't want to don't want to use shields here. Now that sucks for me, because I could have just farmed down from that point. Like, I can single shield farm down the Primeape, which, interesting that didn't really show up here. It does show Primeape winning that. If I opt not to throw a charge move, interesting the PV poke has me losing this still. 5 damage per Dragon Breath. So I am 4 Dragon Breaths away. No, sorry, I'm 2 Dragon Breaths away from winning this one. So that might be an IV thing. But in this case, I felt I had to use because the attack boost came. I felt I had to use the energy to try and either burn the shield or win the matchup. Luckily for me, I get to the Aqua Tail. 1 Volt Switch is not going to be enough to take me out, but then there comes the next one. So the Galvantula has, I think, 2 Volt Switches, might be a 3rd, and it's fired another 2 there. So we're at 4 or 5 Volt Switches at the moment. We get the switch out, and okay, now I'm in a good spot. What's happened here is they have not predicted that I'd have Jellicent in the back. They have switched their Ninetales out, hoping to get the jump on Frostlass. But now I've got the wall here. And the wall is going to build up a whole bunch of energy that it can use to bait out those shields and make it easier. Open the door for the Frostlass to come in through the back with a sledgehammer. Psyshock does hurt. You can see I built up a little more energy than what a Shadow Ball would require. Joe keeping the shields as well, which is a clever decision. We know that Galvantula has a lot of energy. And the fact that... Oh man, I should not have shielded that. I should not have shielded that at all. Luckily for me, the quick thinking, I had the avalanche built up on the frost lass. When did that happen? I'd completely forgotten that. So we're leaving this one. Yeah, right. So they allowed me to get up an avalanche. Maybe they thought that we'd CMP'd and I was gonna throw an avalanche then and there. Miscounted the energy, I don't know. But yeah, the fact that this Pokemon is bulky and is not being attacked by anything it greatly fears, we can build up a bit of energy and pressure that last shield. I want that last shield off of Galvantula. And I've got that avalanche in the back from the Frostlass, which once I get that last shield, it's go home, we're done. Still didn't need to use the shield, I don't think. I probably could have like farmed the last little bit of energy with the Frostlass. And there it is. Okay, if you liked that, there are plenty more videos on the channel in the archive, so feel free to check those out. We're going to be back with another Vortex Cup set of battles. Hopefully we can see you then, and in the meantime, good luck, get better, and build that ranking.